Hello,
Hi, I'm Jen.
I'm Kimberly,
Welcome to
and
that
this is
vegan
That
morning
Vegan
show.
Morning Show. We're gonna get this.
We are. We're also both super tired, so
Super tired.
for different reasons. I just couldn't sleep last night. I wasn't feeling so great, but I'm okay now. And you have other stuff that's been going on that I know you're going to talk about in a moment. But
Yeah,
yeah, but hey, we're here. It's 7:01 a.m. Eastern time, and we have lots of cool things to talk about.
yeah, yeah. So first, kind of a little bit of a bummer. I just wanted to share, and this is why I'm so tired because I could not sleep last night. I've had a lot of trouble sleeping because on Wednesday of last week, we lost our youngest and newest cat, Teddy. This is our
Oh,
guy. Yeah,
hi,
and
Kitty.
he was this gorgeous giant orange cat, and we're still waiting to find out for sure what caused this, but it was one of those things where he was fine until he wasn't, and, so it was really hard to say goodbye, and it's been really hard to move forward without him. You don't expect that when they're so young. We don't know exactly how old Teddy was. Just like all of our other cats, he showed up in the backyard of our old house and just kind of said, "Hey, I'm here. Take care of me." And so we did, and um, and so we think he was about 4 or 5. But he was our
Oh,
big sweet orange guy, and we are going to miss him, and we do miss him so much. So if my voice sounds a little froggy or I look super tired, that is why. Just trying to navigate the grief and the world without him.
yeah, it's really tough losing a pet, and especially unexpected. I mean, it's not great when you expect it either, but there's an
Right.
extra added shock to it. So I'm really sorry, Kimberly,
Thank
that you
you.
and JP have been going through that. I know it's been a difficult time, but thank you for
Yeah.
being here today.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just, I want to be here. So got to do it and show up. And good morning, Diane. Thank you so much for being
Good
here.
morning. Hey, Diane. Yeah, part of the reason why I'm like out of it is so you and I recorded our first cooking segment together,
We did.
and it was a lot of fun.
Yes.
And um and it was, yeah, it was just a really enjoyable experience, but I had an hour and 31 minutes worth of footage to go through.
We
And
chat a lot.
we did, but we're fun to hang out with.
That's right.
so um so then, yeah, I our goal was to have it down to 10 minutes, and I got it down to 11 minutes and 13 seconds. So I think that was, but it took a long time. Plus I had a friend that I was going to catch up with yesterday, and I didn't want to like blow her off because I had to reschedule like a month ago. So that, I had to like stop to like catch up with her, but I think that was a good break. But yeah, it was just, my brain was in a crazy place after. all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's a lot. Being in front of the computer for that many hours, trying to edit video. Thank you, because I haven't learned how to do that yet. So
It was
all
all
the
on my
video editing
phone.
is on Jen.
Yeah, but you do, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, we each have different skills, so it's
Yeah.
great because we can fill in the gaps as
Hmm.
needed. But yeah, this was all on my phone. This editing thing is on my phone, so I was just like holding my phone, and then my phone was like dying. I had to like charge it.
Well, thank you for that.
My
Oh, good
pleasure.
morning, Richard. Thanks for being here, Richard. Good morning.
Good morning, Richard. Thanks for joining us today. Yeah, so
Yeah,
today we wanted to talk about, we have two big holidays coming up. We have Passover and Easter coming up. And both of them typically use animals in the different traditional foods during those holidays. And we wanted to, so our clip that's coming up momentarily is us cooking. I'm making a Passover dish and you're making an Easter dish, which we're going to intro to that shortly. But yeah, this can be a really difficult time as a vegan, especially as I moved more into my vegan journey. Um, me stopping and eating animals and using them, and then when you have to be around other people who still do, it starts to bother. At least I know for myself. The longer I've been vegan, the more it bothers me. What about you, Kimberly?
Yes, for sure. I have a very hard time most holidays now, except when I'm with my family. If I'm with my parents, we typically will just have a vegan holiday, whichever holiday it is, because my dad is outnumbered and he likes vegan food. So he is willing usually to just kind of go along and eat vegan with us, because my mom and JP are both vegan too. When
Mhm.
we're with JP's family, they will always have something vegan for me. So there's never a requirement that I bring my own food, which is really wonderful. But that doesn't change how difficult it is being seated in front of body parts during a meal. And I struggle with that a lot. We don't really talk about it. Uh, they're they respect what I'm doing, but I don't know that they're interested in a conversation about it, which is fine. Sometimes with family, you have to kind of know where you should say something, where you won't say something, and so that's kind of the balance that we've struck. But I feel like when we do bring food, like we show up kind of like, hey, check this out. And my sister-in-law will always try stuff, and she always likes whatever we bring when we do bring food. So it's interesting. Outside of that, though, for the most part, I'm surrounded by people where they're not typically eating animals in front of me. My brother's family are not vegan, but we don't have a ton of holidays around them for birthdays and stuff. I guess it
Mhm.
happens. But again, like they make sure that we have something to eat, and we don't really talk about it. Just want to call this thank you so much, Richard. I really appreciate that. And exactly, right? Choose your battles. There are some people, family members or not, that are not going to hear you. And then, like, I don't know, it just feels like, yeah, choose your battles. Know when there's someone where a conversation will be effective. How do you find that? Because you do have family who are not vegan, and I know you've said that there are even people who will kind of be almost surprised, right? Are you still doing that, or like make comments about what you're eating?
Yeah. So first of all, yeah, I agree with you 100%. Choose your battles. I think, some people might be afraid to ask, or they're just, they're going to do their thing and we're going to do our thing. And I'm totally fine with that. Um, yeah. So for me, like I have family, like immediate family who's really supportive. They'll make sure that there's vegan things for me. And so I really appreciate that. It's more like extended family who I don't see very often, um, who will ask me questions and then, well, don't you miss it? And then, well, why can't you have, and and then there's like different categories. Like there's questions out of curiosity and
Hmm.
just genuinely just trying to understand. And then there's people who just want to like debate you and make a
Yeah.
point. And
Hmm.
so I do have some of that occasionally with some closer family. Um, I won't name names, but
Right.
but um I think they just don't understand it. So to them it just seems ridiculous.
Hmm.
And look, that's okay. And then I respond accordingly.
Yeah.
Um, it's know your audience, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes it's just not worth getting into it. And if I get to it, like if they ask me questions, I'll give them answers. I'll suggest a resource. that, if they want more information, I
Mhm.
would direct them. And then, what I'll do if I don't want to talk about it, and it's okay to stop talking about something if you don't want to. So I just want to
Yeah.
say that out there. If you don't want to talk about it anymore, you could say something like, hey, you know what? I really don't feel like getting into this right now. I'm here to enjoy time with family, friends, and then just suggest a website for them to go to to look it up
Nice.
on their own. So that's like a great tactful way where you can shut something down very quickly. And then if
Yeah.
somebody continues to not respect your boundaries, then you could just say, "Look, I don't want to talk about this anymore."
Mhm.
And you can say no. No is a
Yeah,
complete sentence.
that's right. That is wonderful advice, Jen.
Yeah, so I think no is a complete sentence and pick your battles are two big
Mhm.
takeaways from this
Yes.
conversation. And if you're watching the replay, let us know in the comments below what your tips are for dealing
Yeah.
with what do you do during the holidays when you're eating with non-vegan family and friends?
Mhm.
Like what are your tips? We'd love to see what you have to share.
Yes, please. We can always learn from each other.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
should we go to our clip in a minute, Kimberly?
Yeah, I think so. So Jen, why did you make what you made, and what did you make?
So I made pizza matzo brei. Matzo brei is a fried matzah dish made it during Passover. It's usually like matzah soaked in water, and it's got like eggs to hold it together. And my mom would make a matzo brei and then fry it in the pan to shape it like a circle, make it a complete circle, and then she would put pizza toppings on it and bake it in the oven. I You don't need egg to hold it. You'll see in the video I put like 2 cups of water and it just held together. And then I made a cheese sauce using a cashew cheese sauce, but I omitted the nutritional yeast only because depending on how observant you are for Passover, there's certain food restrictions. Um, that may not be considered a Passover item. And I looked it up after our cooking yesterday because you'd asked me why, which I
Mhm.
edited it out but it'll be in the extended version when you asked me about that. And I didn't know, but it has to do with the process for making nutritional yeast. It's like similar to the beer making process. So they look at it as like
Ah,
fermentation. And so it's a similar process because you're not supposed to have any leavening agents during
gotcha.
Passover. So that's why I omitted it because I wanted to make a recipe that would be suitable wherever anyone was in their Passover observant. So that's a quick synopsis on that. What about you, Kimberly? What did you make and why?
So I made chocolate peanut butter eggs.
Yum.
And yes, and I made that for two reasons. One, in my pre-vegan days, I loved the Reese's peanut butter cups, and I really loved and strongly believed that the Easter eggs, the peanut butter eggs, were the best tasting of all of the, like, so much better than the peanut butter cups. So I kind of was feeling a bit of nostalgia for that, but also it didn't require any cooking and it required very little thought. And I had all of the ingredients, which was really important given everything I've been dealing with in the last few days. So I really wanted something super easy. So I didn't write this recipe myself. I borrowed it from Sam at It Doesn't Taste Like Chicken. So I'll post the link to that while we're watching the video so that people can go
Nice.
and make their own. And I didn't taste them on the video, but I tasted them after, and they are amazing.
I'm sure they are. Peanut butter eggs always seem to taste better.
Yeah. So what do you think? Are we ready?
I think we're ready. Let's do
All
it.
right, let's do it. Enjoy this cooking clip.
Because I'm always trying to cut salt wherever I can. So I figured I'd rather put some salt in the like sauce and other stuff and save that way. My mom would always season the crust. So she would always take onion powder, garlic powder, and like Italian seasoning and season the crust when frying it just to give it more flavor too. I think I'm going to do 8 matzahs
Okay.
to make this fry. So I'm going to start doing that.
Can you see the mise en place?
Yes, I can. It can
Okay.
pan a little bit more towards the sugar. There we go. Now I can see the
Okay.
sugar more.
Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
these are all the ingredients. This is it for the peanut butter eggs. So not bad, right?
Not bad at all. I just crunched up 8 matzahs,
Okay.
and now I have some water already measured, so I'm just going to just holding it up. I'm just pouring. I poured all the water in there. It's 2 cups of water. And I'm just gonna let that soak for a bit. The matzo's absorbing the water and it's getting soggy, which is what you want. And I'm gonna drain this soon. I'm just gonna let it get soft. And I also preheated the oven to 350. Now, with cheese that melts, you would melt it like a pizza. Even though I'm not melting any cheese, I figured it'd still be good to pop it in the oven for like 10 minutes after putting everything on, just to so we're gonna try that.
So what I've done is I mixed the I put the peanut butter, the confectioner sugar, salt, and vanilla extract into a bowl, and then I've just got to kind of mix it up until, whoops. Confectioner sugar is like, it's like working with flour, right? If you're not careful, it's going to fly all over the place.
Usually it does fly all over the place.
Yeah. Yep. My shirt is already getting stuff on it. Well, here's my peanut butter mix.
Ooh, that looks good.
Yeah.
I would eat that right out of the bowl.
Yeah, and I've got some on my finger, so I'm going to do just that.
I think you should. I'm just going to sprinkle a little garlic powder, onion powder, and Italian seasoning. Also, I'm going to grab a little, I forgot to have it over here, some salt and pepper. So I'm just going to go behind here and get that. So I'm going to now put a little olive oil in the frying pan. So usually I don't cook with oil, but there are times I do use oil because sometimes I just want tasty things that have oil in them.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna get this pan. You want a really hot pan.
Yeah.
When doing this. So now the matzo's like really, really mushy now. Like it's had a chance to get really soft and mushy. And it's when you fry it in the oil, and like when I put it in the pan, I'm going to smush it down in, and it's going to fry into the shape of the pan and make it into a circle.
You just freeze them for anywhere from a half hour to overnight, and then you melt some chocolate, and you dip it in the frozen, and you got to take them out one at a time from the freezer so that they don't start to defrost while you're working.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, and then you dip it in the melted chocolate, and then once that's frozen, you could even take some melted chocolate again and kind of drizzle over it, and take some flaky salt or some fleur de sel and sprinkle that on top and give it kind of like a little extra salty boost.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
My pan's really hot now, so I'm going to put this mixture on.
So here are my eggs, my peanut butter eggs. It only made 5. The recipe said 9, so maybe I made them too big. But
it's your recipe, so that's the beauty. When you make your own, you can make them because who wants a small peanut butter egg? I'd rather have
you're speaking my language, girl. So I'm gonna put these in the freezer.
Very nice. And I have, as you can see, I have this matzo pushed down in the pan, and it's just frying, and it's taking the shape.
One of the things in this recipe that she calls out is to make sure that you're using natural peanut butter.
Oh, okay.
I love this one because there is literally one ingredient, and it is peanuts. But because you don't want it to be too sweet, and processed peanut butter also because it has so much sugar and oils and all kinds of added stuff, it's not going to form in the same way. And the texture, I think she said, would be way too dry. So just make sure to pick up some peanut butter that's just peanuts.
So I have a plate, and I'm gonna put it here. Oh my God, I'm like so nervous. It's like fun and also the scary part.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing this,
Uh-huh.
and
Perfect.
look how it cooked on the top.
That's so cool.
And so now I'm just gonna slide. Oh, it came out good. Look at that.
Nice.
And so now I'm just cooking the other side.
Okay.
So now I'm just pressing it down with the spatula. So what I'm gonna do is I just finished my pizza crust. So here it is, done. It didn't take long to cook, maybe 10 minutes to cook that.
Yeah.
So this is my sauce I made earlier.
Oh, the beet tomato, like the beet.
Yeah, it's
tomato.
like a marinara sauce. Now listen, if tomatoes don't bother you, then make your own tomato sauce, use a jarred sauce. You know, do whatever you want to make it your own.
Yeah.
I sauteed peppers, onions, mushrooms, some fresh garlic. And then I tossed it. I made my beet ketchup, which is a can of no salt added beets, a tablespoon, and I drain that and I put it in a blender, and it's a tablespoon of maple syrup, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, like a teaspoon of onion powder. If I just do ketchup, but since I was making a sauce for the pizza, I also added a teaspoon of garlic to it, and blended that all up. And then I mixed it in with the sauteed peppers, onions, and mushrooms. And then I chopped up some fresh basil and mixed that all in here. So that's what's in this sauce.
Okay.
So here is the sauce that's on the pizza. There we go. Here it is. I'm just drizzling on the cheese like this. I'm gonna put this pizza that I made. Here it is with the cheese.
Ooh, lovely.
Sauce on. So I'm just gonna do like 10 minutes. That's usually, I mean, the crust is already cooked, the vegetables are already cooked.
Right.
So I feel like 10 minutes is enough time. And then I'm gonna sprinkle on some fresh basil.
Very nice.
So the pizza just beeped. Let's see how it looks. Ooh, you know what? I think this looks pretty good. The baking in the oven for 10 minutes made the cheese less runny and kind of set it on there. And it kind of browned a little bit. So I think we're done there.
Very cool.
So I'm just garnishing with some fresh basil.
I'm going to start melting chocolate. And I'm going to do it very slowly because you don't want to burn the chocolate. And I'm doing it in the microwave to show that it's easy. You don't need to do a double boiler or create any of that mess.
I do it in the microwave also. I usually do it for a minute first, and then I mix it with like a spoon. And then if it needs like an additional like 10-second increments, because it can burn fast.
Yeah. Interesting.
How long do you cook it for?
I just started at 15 seconds. So when you
okay.
were saying a minute, I was like, oh, that's so brave.
Yeah, if it's like a big amount, I've done it for like a minute and it's been fine. And usually it's fine.
Bowl is gonna get so hot. So all right. Well, there's my first one.
All right, looks good.
But the camera was zoomed out. So all right, next one. Oh, okay. Now
I see it. Yeah.
So I'm just like throwing it in, putting some chocolate around it.
And how long are you gonna chill it for? Like 10 minutes?
Probably, yeah. And then I can take it off the parchment and then put it in a container to keep in the fridge.
Nice. Oh my God, I want to like eat them. They look like really tasty chocolate peanut butter blobs.
Yeah, they definitely look like blobs. The chocolate is like, because it was hardening already. And then let's see.
I would be eating those little crumbs too.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of salt on them. All right. We ready?
Yeah. Ta-da!
Oh, hold on.
Maybe hold one of them up off the plate.
Okay, that's very smart. And it will be this one because this one is the most beautiful.
I'm going to put my thumb here so it doesn't like slide.
Yeah, smart. That was fun.
It was fun. I'm like, wow. I'm like so proud of my editing skills right now.
Well done, Jen.
An hour and 31 of us, but it was so much fun. It wasn't like painful editing. It was just a lot of time. But yeah, I had so much fun cooking with you.
Yeah,
And yeah, well, I'm looking forward to doing more cooking adventures with you.
yeah, same.
So I'm going to finish up some things with the edit on the longer version, and then I'm going to post that on our channel. So if you want to watch the full version, and I also will type out the recipe and stick it there as well. I'll probably put it in the notes below here as well for the
Nice. Okay.
for the just so people can find it easily.
Yeah, very cool. And by the way, when you were talking about the ingredients of your sauce, I was looking down a lot and it looked like I wasn't paying attention. I was listening, but I was making a mess. And that's why I was looking down.
Yeah, no, I figured, no, I knew what you were doing over there, but I guess, yeah, good to explain. You and I are both very messy chefs. So
Yes. And I've gotten better. I do clean up usually as I go now, but yeah, as far as the food goes, when I'm mixing things, I still have a tendency to make a bit of a mess.
yeah, my husband Ellie will walk in the kitchen sometimes and be like, "What happened here?"
Yeah, JP does the same thing, and he's like, you could clean that up, like, once you get this in the pan or that in the oven, like, just take a minute and wipe it up. I'm like, "Don't mess with my process, okay?"
Yes, I say the same type of thing because I have a process.
Exactly.
Oh my God, that was so much fun though. We have like a couple minutes left. Did you want to quickly touch on a news story that we were talking about this morning?
So, I don't know if we have enough time because I wanna talk about this. So, I wonder if maybe we can push it to next week.
Let's
But
save
for
it for next week. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot to be said
Mhm.
about this person and her, quote unquote vegan experience. And yeah, I really want us to kind of dive into it. So let's leave it till next week.
I think that's a great idea, and maybe we can also find some other things to, like, add to the conversation to,
Mhm.
because yeah, it's not something you can talk about in a minute and 30 seconds.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So a little teaser for next week. We're gonna, we decided that we wanted to have a bit of an entertainment piece in most of the episodes, and so this one popped up and it was perfect. But we ran out of time, so we'll do it next week. But as always, Jen, it's so much fun to be here with you, and I'm so excited to do this. And it's giving me a nice little break from some other stuff, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and thank you, Kimberly. It's always a joy hanging out with you, and I love our antics. And if you're watching the replay, put in the comment where you're watching from, and also, again, share your tips for navigating the holidays. What are some of the challenges you deal with, and how do you handle them? We'd love to hear it.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, Kimberly. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.